If you find yourself struggling to play fast, exciting pentatonic scale runs on the guitar like Bonamassa, like Eric Johnson, but you always gravitate toward position 1 of the minor pentatonic scale, you're not alone. But in this video, I'm going to show you 3 licks that are going to extend your pentatonics far beyond that position 1 box that we all know and love. Now, these 3 licks do use the same extended pentatonic scale shape that I'm about to show you. It ranges from the 19th fret all the way down to the 3rd fret in just one scale shape. However, they do exploit different ideas that are going to allow you to create your own lines using this one scale shape and not just copy the licks that I show you. If you want the tab to everything that you hear in this video, as well as a whole bunch of different variations, including 5 extra licks that you don't see in this lesson, as well as a monster lick that features all of the concepts plus some string skipping stuff, head over to Patreon. There's a 7-day free trial happening at the moment. All right, we're in the key of E minor today. Now, all 3 licks feature this really nice 3-note per string pentatonic pattern. I'm going to show you starting from the highest point to the lowest point, just so you can start to visualize this scale in a different way. It's really going to help you get your fingers under these licks nice and easily. So we're going to start on, what is that, the 19th fret, which is our perfect 5th. I'm going to go down 3 notes of the pentatonic scale. Then going to go down to the root note, which is 17th fret of the next string, the B string, 3 notes down the scale. Then heading to the 14th fret of the G string, 3 notes down, right? So far we got this. Then we're going to go to the 12th fret of the D string, 3 notes down, it's a bit of a stretchy one. And then to the minor 3rd, which is our 10th fret A. And then you can do 7th fret E, followed by 5th and then 3rd. And then open up with the E string. Right? So that whole shape looks like this. Now, I like to transition every 3rd note, I guess, with a slide. Check it out. Gives you a nicer transition, an easier transition with that 3rd note of every string. But that's just a really good way to visualize the scale. Whether or not you play it in its entirety is totally up to you. These 3 licks are going to feature 3 different sort of concepts, 3 different ideas, but we're going to use that same shape really. So let's jump into the first idea. All right, now we're going even groups of notes. The first group of notes is going to be a group of 4 followed by 6s, okay? Check this idea out. I really like this. I use this a lot. It's kind of Bonamassa-esque. So we're starting on that top note, going down 4 notes of the scale. And then we're going to go back up to the 17th fret of the E string and go 6 notes down the scale. But we're actually going to transition through that 3-note per string shape, right? There's that transition. Right, so far we got this. Then we're going to go down to the 14th fret of the G string. And that finishes our second group of notes, which is 6 notes. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Transition, that's the 5th note. And then the 6th note is the 14th fret. And then we're going to do that same idea where we go back up to the 15th fret of the B string and go down 6 notes, or play 6 notes through the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, transition. That's the 5th note, and then the 6th note, right? So far it's this. Then we're going to go back up to the 12th fret of the G string and play 6 notes. Transition. Right. Then we're going to go back up to the 9th fret of the D string and then go down 6 more notes. You guessed it. Transition there, and then hit the 7th fret of the E string, and then finish on the root note. Those groups of 6s make it nice to memorize. I think it's a good contour for the whole pattern, and you get a lot of range. You're going from this high note, which is a B note, right down to this low B, and then you end up finishing on the root note, which is pretty cool. I'm going to play the lick in its entirety. Here we go. Here it is a little bit faster. Now, if you wanted to extend it, you could continue down the 3-note per string pentatonic pattern and finish it sort of however you like. If you want to hit the low E and then the root note above, that can be really cool. Check it out. Right, you get a lot of range there, and I would encourage you to experiment with the different fingerings, whether or not you bar the notes in the same fret or use separate fingers. It's totally up to you. Everyone's anatomy is different, and I really think experimenting with those different fingerings can be really beneficial and find out what works for you. In terms of the picking, I am picking 2 notes and then pulling off where there are 3 notes on 1 string. So for example, the first 3 notes of the lick are pick, pick, pull off, right? And that's just a really common thing with my playing, something that I've picked up from I don't know where, but it is really, really helpful because I'm not the best alternate picker. Let's move on to the second lick. Now, if you want the tab to everything that you hear in this lesson, plus 5 extra variations that aren't included in this particular video on YouTube, head over to Patreon. There's a 7-day free trial happening at the moment. This is sort of a la Eric Johnson or even Bonamassa, who, yes, ripped off Eric Johnson. However, it's a really, really good way to sort of get some rhythmic displacement happening in your ideas. So you're not just sticking to the same old repetitive group, right? It really, really places the groups or the sequences of notes in a really interesting way. All right, so let's start on the top note of that position that I showed you before. We're going to go from the 19th fret of the E string, play down 5 notes. We're then going to go back up to the E string 17th fret, which is the middle note of the group of 3. This being the group of 3, we're going to start the next sequence on the middle note. Okay, that's going to be a common theme throughout the lick. And we're going to play down 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, position shift. That's 5, 6, 7. Right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So far we got this. I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we are playing 16th notes, so it's important that you stick to that groove, that rhythm. It's really, really important. We're then going to continue with this 15th fret of the B string, which is the middle note of the group of 3 notes on the B string. Middle note. And then we're going to play down 7 notes of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So far, we've got this. Then we're going to go back up to the middle note of the highest string from where we were positioned. That's going to be the 12th fret of the G string, and go down. Let's do 5 notes. And then we're going to finish it with the root note on the G string. So we've got group of 5, 2 groups of 7, and then another group of 5 to finish it off. Now, over on Patreon, I do give you a whole bunch of other variations, some shorter, some longer, but they're all based around these ideas. Some groups are 7, some groups are 5, some even groups, some string skipping groups. So it's really, really cool to go and check it out. There's a 7-day free trial happening at the moment. All right, so this lick is going to use the start of the position that I showed you, or the shape that I showed you with 3-note per strings, but we're actually going to finish in our favorite position 1 box. And this just gives you a little bit of an idea of ways that you can use little segments of these licks to make these ideas your own. You don't have to copy the lick note for note. You can take little chunks and sort of exit in different box patterns, box patterns that you're familiar with, like position 1. So this gives you a good idea. And I'm also going to show you an extended version of this as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to start on the flat 7, which is our 15th fret of the B string. We're going to go up, we're going to play 3 notes. And I'm going to skip what would be the 17th fret and go to the 19th fret. Right, that's our 3-note sort of pattern on that E string, but we skip that middle note. We're going to do that same exact thing on a lower string set, so it's important to remember that pattern. We're just going to then descend down through the note that we skipped and go down the minor pentatonic scale in the pattern that I showed you at the start of the lesson. Right, so far we've got this. And then we're going to do the same exact sequence that I just showed you, but we're going to start on the 12th fret of the G. Okay, it looks like this. And if you want, you could finish it here by sliding down into the 9th fret. However, in the lick that you saw, the demonstration, I actually just descend down the minor pentatonic scale and then hit the root note on the 14th fret of the D string, which helps us land nice and evenly on beat 3 with our E note, right? This is the whole lick. So some really cool stuff there. If you want to take that sequence further down the scale, it sounds like this. Right, that's a really nice way to continue down that 3-note per string pentatonic pattern that I showed you at the very, very start of the lesson. So really experiment with that. There's a whole bunch more variations over on Patreon that you don't see in this lesson, as well as the tab to everything else, as well as the backing track. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I'll see you on the next one.